All right, ready to dive deep into AI? Looks like you've been doing some research on artificial intelligence already, which is awesome. We've got some excerpts here from a deep dive into artificial intelligence.
Seems like it covers a ton.
Yeah, and by the end of this deep dive, you'll know what AI is, how it works, and why it's important, and you won't have to, wade through all the technical stuff to get there.
It is a complex field.
It is.
But I think we can make it clear and interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So let's just start with the basics. What exactly is artificial intelligence?
I mean, you hear that term everywhere these days, right?
I know, right?
It's basically about creating systems that can do things that normally need, human intelligence.
Like what kind of things?
Oh, like problem solving, learning, decision making, that sort of thing. It goes beyond just programming a computer to follow a set of rules. It's more about creating systems that can adapt and learn from experience. And actually, they can improve over time, which is kind of cool.
So it's not just about following instructions. It's about learning and evolving.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's what makes it different from, traditional computer programs, right?
Yeah. Think of it like this. A traditional program is like a calculator. It can do specific tasks, but it can only do what it's programmed to do.
Okay.
AI is more like a student. It can learn from new info, it can see patterns, and it can come up with creative solutions.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Now, in the research we've had here, it mentions a bunch of different subfields of AI. Machine learning, natural language processing, computer vision. Are those different branches of AI?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. Each one focuses on a different aspect of intelligence. So machine learning is all about enabling systems to learn from data and get better over time.
Okay.
Natural language processing, or NLP, is focused on getting computers to understand human language.
Which is incredibly complex.
Oh, incredibly. And then you have computer vision, which lets machines actually see and interpret visual information.
Oh, okay, so that's how, my email filters out spam, right? That's machine learning doing its thing.
Exactly.
And then when I ask my smart speaker to play, a certain song, that's natural language processing.
You got it. And you know what's crazy?
Mm-hmm.
These subfields are working together to power so much of the tech we use every day. It's kind of wild how seamlessly it's integrated into our lives.
I know, it's crazy. It really is becoming like this invisible force that's shaping everything around us. Now, I've heard the terms narrow AI and general AI. What's the difference?
Yeah, that's a key distinction. So narrow AI, which is sometimes called weak AI, is what we see in most applications today.
Okay.
It's great at a specific task, like playing chess, recommending stuff you might like, or translating languages. But the thing is, it's limited to that one domain. It can't take what it knows and apply it to something totally different.
So it's like a specialist, super skilled in one area, but not very versatile.
Exactly.
Makes sense. So then what about general AI? Is that the ultimate goal where AI can basically do anything a human can do?
That's the idea, yeah. It's also sometimes called strong AI. It's about creating AI that has the same cognitive abilities as a human, with the ability to learn, reason, and solve problems across a ton of different tasks. Imagine an AI that could write a novel, compose a symphony, design a scientific experiment, all with the same skill level as a human.
Whoa, that's a pretty ambitious goal. Are we even close to achieving that?
Well, general AI is still largely theoretical at this point. I mean, we've made insane strides, don't get me wrong, but we're still pretty far off from replicating the full range of human intelligence. It actually brings up a ton of really interesting questions, like what does it even mean to be intelligent? And what would happen if we did create a super advanced AI? Kind of mind-blowing, right?
Totally mind-blowing. And then there's the even more futuristic idea of super intelligent AI.
Yeah.
That's the stuff we see in sci-fi movies where AI is actually smarter than humans.
Yeah. So that's the idea of AI that not only matches human intelligence, but surpasses it across the board. It's still purely hypothetical, though, and it definitely sparks a lot of debate about, the potential benefits and risks.
For sure. Okay, so we've got a pretty good idea of what AI is and the different types of AI. But now I'm curious about how it all actually works. What's the secret sauce that makes machines intelligent?
It can feel like magic, but at its core, it's all about algorithms, data, and massive amounts of computing power. One of the big methods behind AI is machine learning. Basically, you're teaching computers to learn from data without programming them for every single scenario.
So instead of giving the computer a step-by-step manual, we give it tons of data and let it figure things out.
Exactly. It's like giving a kid a set of building blocks and letting them experiment. In machine learning, we feed these algorithms tons of data, and then they can identify patterns, make predictions, and even improve over time.
That's so cool. How does the machine actually learn from the data, though? Are there different approaches to machine learning?
Oh yeah, there are a few. Each one has its own strengths and is used for different things. So one is called supervised learning. It's where we give the algorithm labeled data. This means the data already has the desired output, you know?
Oh, okay.
So think of it like teaching a kid to recognize different animals. You show them pictures and tell them what each animal is. The algorithm learns to connect the input with the correct output.
So it's like showing the machine flashcards with pictures and labels, and it learns to connect them.
Right. Then there's unsupervised learning, which is different. We just give the algorithm data that isn't labeled and let it find patterns on its own.
Huh. Interesting. So it's more about exploring and discovering than being told what to do?
Yeah, exactly.
That's fascinating. And then the research mentions a third type, reinforcement learning. What is that?
Well, with reinforcement learning, it's all about learning through trial and error, like how we learn to ride a bike or play a video game. The algorithm interacts with an environment and then gets feedback, like rewards or penalties, depending on its actions.
Oh, so like training a dog with treats and praise.
Exactly. Over time, it learns to get the most rewards by adjusting its actions based on the feedback. It's super useful for things that involve making decisions and taking a series of actions.
Wow, that's incredible. There's so many different ways to teach machines to learn and think. But I've got to say, the idea of neural networks always kind of throws me off. What are those all about?
Yeah, they can seem complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. They're basically inspired by the way the human brain is structured. You know, with all those interconnected nodes that process information, these nodes are organized in layers, and each connection between them has a certain weight.
So it's like a digital brain with these interconnected pathways.
Exactly. As data flows through the network, these weights change based on the input and what we want the output to be. And this process of adjusting weights, that's how it learns. It's kind of like how the connections between neurons in your brain get stronger the more you use them.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how it works. So these neural networks are basically what powers deep learning, which is kind of like machine learning on steroids, right?
Yeah, exactly. Deep learning uses multiple layers of these artificial neurons to process information in a hierarchical way. This lets the network learn even more complex patterns, which is why it's so good at things like image recognition, understanding language, and even playing games.
This is all really fascinating. But honestly, I'm super curious to see how all these complex concepts translate into real-world stuff. How is AI actually being used to solve problems and make a difference?
That's where things get really interesting. AI is not just theoretical anymore. It's rapidly changing industries like healthcare, finance, transportation, entertainment. You name it, AI is probably having an impact.
So let's dive into those real-world applications then. I'm ready to hear about how it's actually changing the game, right? So we've talked about the basics, but how is AI actually being used out there in the real world?
Well, AI is having a huge impact across so many fields.
I bet.
I mean, one area where we're seeing crazy progress is healthcare.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've heard that AI can be used to detect certain cancers
Oh, yeah.
with like 95% accuracy. That's better than humans in some cases.
It's insane. Yeah. Studies have actually shown that it can even surpass human capabilities sometimes.
That's incredible. So is it like becoming this super-powered medical assistant, helping doctors make quicker and more accurate diagnoses?
Exactly. And it goes beyond just diagnosis, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. AI is also being used to create personalized treatments, so it tailors therapies to each person's specific genes and lifestyle.
Wow. That's personalized medicine, basically.
It is, and that means treatments are more effective, there are fewer side effects, and people end up with better outcomes.
That's fantastic. It sounds like AI is really changing the game in healthcare. What about finance?
Oh, AI is a natural fit for the financial world. Think about it. It's all about analyzing massive amounts of data and making predictions. That's what AI is best at.
True. So what kind of things is it being used for there?
Well, one big one is fraud detection. You know, those little charges that show up and you're like, wait, I didn't buy that.
Yeah.
AI is helping with that.
Good.
Yeah, so these machine learning models, they analyze millions of transactions every second.
Really?
Yeah, and they can spot patterns that might mean fraud is happening.
So it's like a digital detective, always on the lookout for suspicious activity.
Exactly. It helps banks and financial institutions protect their customers and prevent those financial losses.
That's definitely reassuring. I feel better knowing AI is working in the background to keep my money safe. What about investing? Is AI playing a role in that too?
Big time. AI-powered systems are being used for algorithmic trading, where they analyze market data and make trades super fast,
Oh, wow.
like lightning speed. And they can pick up on trends and opportunities that we humans might miss, so they're really valuable tools for investors.
So it's like AI traders, huh? That's both amazing and kind of scary at the same time.
Yeah, it is a bit wild. It makes you wonder if human traders will even be needed in the future, right?
Totally. Is that where we're headed?
It's a tough question. It's definitely changing things up, but at the end of the day, these systems are just tools.
Right?
They're only as good as the data they're given and the people who design them.
That's a really good point. Human judgment and oversight are still really important, even with all this AI stuff happening.
Absolutely.
Speaking of human oversight, what about transportation? I'm thinking self-driving cars. Those are all over the news lately. How is AI playing into that?
Self-driving cars are like the poster child for AI in action. They rely heavily on computer vision, machine learning, and sensor technology to navigate, make decision and avoid obstacles.
Yeah. I have to admit, the whole idea of a car driving itself still seems kind of like science fiction to me, but it feels like it's becoming reality way faster than I expected.
It is, and the potential benefits are huge. I mean, think about it. Self-driving cars could make roads safer because there's less human error. Plus, they can make traffic flow better and even give people who can't drive themselves a way to get around.
It's pretty mind-blowing. It seems like AI could totally change the way we get from place to place. But let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about something a little more fun. Entertainment. How is AI impacting movies, music, and video games?
AI is having a massive effect on entertainment, both in how things are made and how we experience them.
Cool. Like how?
Well, think about those recommendations you get on Netflix or Spotify or even YouTube.
Yeah.
Those are powered by AI, algorithms that analyze what you've watched or listened to before and then suggest stuff you might like.
Honestly, those recommendations are scary accurate sometimes.
I know, right?
It's like those algorithms know me better than I know myself.
It really is kind of freaky. But yeah, AI isn't just about recommendations. It's actually being used to create content, too.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. There are tools now that can compose original music, write scripts, even make art.
Whoa, no way.
And some of it is crazy good, like it's blurring the lines between human creativity and what a machine can do.
That's both super exciting and kind of unsettling at the same time. What does that mean for artists and creators if AI can basically do their jobs for them?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's definitely something to think about.
It is.
As AI gets more and more advanced, we'll need to figure out how to integrate these tools into creative industries and what it all means for human creativity.
Absolutely. It's a big conversation to have. It's clear that AI is already having a major impact on our lives, and it's only going to become more influential in the future. But are there downsides to AI? Are there risks we need to be aware of as this technology evolves?
Oh, absolutely. Any powerful technology comes with responsibility, and AI is no exception. There are definitely some potential downsides and risks we need to be thinking about.
Like what? What are the big things we need to be watching out for?
Well, one major concern is jobs.
Oh, yeah.
As AI systems get more sophisticated, they might start automating tasks that are currently done by humans.
Okay, yeah.
And this could lead to job losses in certain sectors. So we need to be ready to adapt to a changing workforce.
That makes sense. We'll need to find ways to retrain people for new types of jobs.
For sure. Another risk is bias.
Bias, like in the algorithms themselves.
Exactly. If you train an AI system on biased data, it's going to learn those biases and then perpetuate them in its decision-making. This could lead to some unfair or discriminatory outcomes, especially in sensitive areas like hiring, lending, even the criminal justice system.
That's a scary thought. So it's really important to make sure the data that's used to train these systems is diverse and fair and representative of everyone.
100%. We need to be super careful about how we design and train these systems to make sure we don't create unintended consequences. And it goes beyond just the data, too. We also need to think about how AI could be misused. I mean, in the wrong hands, it could be used to create autonomous weapons, spread misinformation, or even manipulate people.
Wow, those are some seriously scary scenarios. It really does sound like AI has the potential for both incredible good and a lot of bad. It just reinforces how important it is to be careful and responsible as we develop these systems.
Definitely. It's a powerful tool, and it's up to us to use it wisely and make sure it ultimately benefits humanity.
Couldn't agree more. So what are you most excited about when it comes to the future of AI?
That's a great question. AI is such a fast-moving field. There's a ton to be excited about. But one thing that I'm particularly interested in is explainable AI.
Explainable AI, what's that?
Well, it's about making AI systems more transparent so we can actually understand what's going on inside them. Right now, a lot of AI systems are kind of like black boxes. We know they work, but we don't always know how they come up with their decisions.
Okay.
Explainable AI aims to change that. It wants to make the reasoning behind those decisions clearer so we can understand them better.
That makes sense. I mean, it would be super helpful to understand the why behind AI's actions, especially in really important areas like healthcare or finance.
Exactly. Another area I'm really excited about is how AI is starting to merge with other cool new technologies, like quantum computing and biotechnology.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's wild. Combining these things could lead to some truly groundbreaking advances and push the limits of what we thought was possible.
It sounds like we're standing at the edge of a new era.
I think so. It's an exciting time to be live, that's for sure.
It really is. So we've talked a lot about the potential downsides of AI, like job displacement and bias in the algorithms. Are there any other big concerns that we should be thinking about? So we've talked a lot about the potential downsides of AI, like job displacement and bias in the algorithms. Are there any other big concerns that we should be thinking about?
Well, one thing that pops into my mind is privacy and data security. I mean, AI systems, they need a ton of data to work properly. The more data they have, the better they perform. But that also raises questions about how all that data is collected and stored and used.
Right, so it's a trade-off. We want these systems to be effective, but we also don't want our personal info floating around out there.
Yeah, it's a tough balance for sure. I have to figure out how to develop and use AI in a way that respects people's privacy, but also still lets these systems access the data they need to do their job.
It sounds like there's a whole bunch of complex stuff to figure out as AI becomes a bigger part of our lives. It's not just about the tech itself, it's about the ethics of it all, too, and how it affects society.
You hit the nail on the head. We need to be having some serious conversations about these things, and we've got to develop some guidelines and regulations to make sure AI is used responsibly and ethically.
It's a good reminder that AI isn't just a tech revolution, it's a social and cultural one, too.
Totally agree. It's going to take people from all kinds of different fields working together to figure this out.
Speaking of working together, do you see any areas where AI could actually help bring people together? Or maybe solve some global challenges?
Absolutely. One area with a ton of potential is sustainability.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, AI can be used to optimize energy use, reduce waste, and create more efficient transportation systems. It's actually helping us find some creative ways to tackle those big environmental problems.
That's awesome. It's good to hear that AI to be used for good in those areas.
Yeah, for sure. And it goes beyond just sustainability, too. It can help with scientific discoveries, improve healthcare, even help bridge those cultural divides through language translation.
So AI has the potential to benefit humanity in tons of different ways. That's really encouraging. But I'm also wondering about how it will impact us on a personal level. Not just the obvious things like recommendations and search results, but like, how will it change our daily lives?
That's a thought-provoking question. I think one area where we'll see a big difference is personalized education. Imagine having AI tutors that can adapt to how you learn best and give you feedback that's tailored to you.
That would be amazing. It could completely change the way we learn and develop new skills.
Totally. And think about personalized healthcare. AI could give you customized advice on diet, exercise, even mental wellness. Like imagine having an AI health assistant. It could track your vitals and give you tips to stay healthy.
So basically, AI could help us be more proactive about our health. That's a powerful concept.
It is. And beyond all the practical stuff, I think AI will also make us think about ourselves differently. You know, as we interact more and more with intelligent machines, it makes you wonder, what does it actually mean to be human? What is consciousness? And what are our unique contributions in a world where machines can do so many things that used to require human intelligence?
Whoa. Those are some deep questions. It sounds like AI isn't just a technological revolution, it's kind of an existential one, too.
For sure. It's a journey, discovering what AI can do, but also discovering more about ourselves in the process.
Well said. I think we've covered so much in this deep dive. We've gone from the basics of AI to all the different ways it's being used and what it could mean for the future. This has been an awesome conversation.
I really enjoyed it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI, what's one key takeaway you'd like to leave with our listener?
If I had to boil it down to one thing, I'd say AI is a tool, an incredibly powerful tool with the potential for amazing things, but also some risks. It's our responsibility to make sure we use it wisely, ethically, and for the good of humanity.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's a perfect way to end this discussion. So to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep learning, keep asking those questions. The future of AI is in our hands. It's up to all of us to make it a future we can all be proud of. Until next time, keep those brain synapses firing. Standy CE.